Alrighty guys, what is going on everybody? Good afternoon to y'all here. Hope you guys have been having a great Sunday so far. We got ourselves some more updates in regarding to Hurricane Lee here. If you notice my left-hand panel where all my stuff is, you can see the spinny. It's not really wanting to work right now, so that left-hand panel is probably not going to be here for the stream. But anyways, my friends, hope everyone is doing good. Like I said, glad to have y'all here for today. We got some new information on the system, as well as a couple other guys we need to be looking out there for. There's a shot for another system or two that could develop out there in the Eastern Atlantic. We'll have to keep an eye on it. But anyways, let's go ahead and see who we have ourselves here for today in the live stream. Let's see, we have Kala, we have, let's see, Joel, we have Crystal, we got ourselves Caden, we have Aiden, we have Logan, Swanky, we have, let's see, Elint Will, we have Otters, we have Leon, we have Bryant, we have Tyler, let's see here, we have Weather Watcher, we have the Odd One, Rich G, let's see here, we also have ourselves TRG, Crazy Awesome, let's see here, who else we got hanging out with us here for today? Let's see, Braxton. What's up, guys? Hope everyone's doing good. Like I said, glad to have you guys here. So, in regarding to the latest update here, with the system, right now, let's go and talk about its current strength before we dive into the future. So right now, it is a Category 2 hurricane. It did get downgraded from a Cat 3 to a Category 2. However, we are expecting this thing to kick back up in strength here over the next couple of days. This thing is a Category 2 with sustained winds of 110 miles per hour, so it's an upper level Cat 2. It's almost Cat 3 again. I mean, it's right there on that boundary between Cat 2 and Cat 3. It's an upper level Category 2 right now. Literally, a single bump up in the wind speeds would knock it into Category 3 perspective. So, like I said, it's right there on the edge of a Category 3. But anyways, but yeah, Category 2 right now, sustained winds of 110, obviously higher gusts. This says max gusts up to 0 miles an hour. That's just a glitch on this program here. But pressure's down to 958. The same as it was from last night, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure it was 958 because I did not have to change anything on the banner I have scrolling at the bottom there. So that's, remained the same, the same pressure for the most part. This thing is forecasted this evening to actually become a Category 3 again, kind of right around at 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time, 7 Central. Looks like this thing could have the possibility of picking up 10 mile an hour strength. Right now, like I said, it's at 110 right now. You can see right now it's sustained at 110. By this evening, it could be up to a total of 120 with gusts getting up to, like I said, around 150 being a possibility overall. Then we work our way down in time here. Like I said, obviously we have ourselves this thing expected to get back in the Category 4 realm, kind of for the evening right now. Pretty much for the evening of the 11th overall. So 130 sustained with gusts getting up to 160. It's not going to last a Cat 4 for too long. It's actually kind of right on the boundary. I wouldn't be surprised if this is just an upper Cat 3. But then this thing continues to work its way up here to the north. We start to get that northerly motion like we were talking about here for the 13th. Into the 14th here, and it starts pulling directly due north. Now, you notice how Bermuda is inside of the cone of uncertainty here. Okay, like I said, obviously, this thing is in the cone of uncertainty here. So that means Bermuda should still watch out for this. I think regardless of where the system ends up here overall, I definitely think that this system is going to have some effect on Bermuda, whether it being a direct impact. Hey, look, my panels came up. Would you look at that? It's a miracle. But I do think that Bermuda will have some impacts regarding the system here. Like I said, either direct impacts or, indirectly. Now, we're for sure going to see a lot of rough waves out there as we're going to be looking at the models. We're talking a potential of, 20 to 30 plus foot waves being a possibility, unfortunately, for those areas. It's not just across, Bermuda. It's really the entire U.S. East Coast that's got to watch out for these big rip currents. Big rip currents and some swelling of the water, a little bit above sea level could be possible. Because like I said, we're just getting big waves pushed directly inland here according to the storm here overall. But later on down in time, as you guys are going to figure out here in the models, we are going to expect a continuous north motion. It seems like the models have been kind of pinpointing areas here near Nova Scotia to possibly be impacted. Maybe even the northeast could, possibly be impacted as well. It's still not completely figured out yet, but like I said, if you live across these regions here, I would consider keeping an eye on this storm here very closely over the next couple of days, because it looks like the northeast could get impacted. The northeast is going to get impacted by those waves we were talking about regardless. I mean, that's, once again, the whole U.S. East Coast, from basically Fort Lauderdale and up, is going to probably see some big waves and all of those rip current concerns and stuff like that. But, if you're in Nova Scotia, if you're up there towards the northeast United States, got to keep an eye out there on the storm here because it could eventually work its way towards those regions, as you are going to be seeing here on the models overall. But yeah, that's kind of what we got going on there. But like I said, I mean, from right now, like I said, today is the 10th. I mean, the end of the, the National Hurricane Center's forecast ends on the 15th. That is 5 days from now. Like I said, I don't really like looking 5 days out because, after 5 days, things get a little hairy. But I do think, since we've had a bit of support from the models, I think this thing's going to continue to the north here overall, in which we're going to have to watch out for it. Now, before we dive our way in to the models, let me go ahead and show you guys the current satellite view here on Hurricane Lee. It does not have an eye. We're going to go ahead and bring you guys over here now. It does not have an eye, but it's still trying to. You can see a lot of convection's been popping up around in circles here. Yeah, let's go ahead and pause that on that last frame there so you guys can kind of see it. So, there we go. So, in terms of the storm, you can see big plumes of convection still happening there towards the center. So, the system is still, trying to get its act back together. It's definitely, trying to do such. But overall, you can see big bands of, convection starting to be, continuously, I should say, popping up there towards the center of the storm here overall. Let's see here. Crystal coming in with a $1 super chat. Thank you so much, Crystal. It's greatly appreciated. Thank you so much for the support. Very sweet of you. I appreciate it. Thank you so much, Crystal. But yeah, a lot of convection is still popping up there towards the center, showing the storm is still trying to organize itself and get its act together. The last couple of scans, you can see how it's been swirling a bunch of convection, over the northernmost and the westernmost area here of the, of the outer side of the, or the inner side, I should say, of the storm's center, being where the eye wall would be, but there is no eye. So basically the center of the storm is where this is kicking off here overall. But it's definitely trying, like I said, it's definitely trying to get its act together here overall. In terms of, water vapor and stuff, it's honestly looking fine. It looks, pretty good so far for the most part. There's a little bit of dry air it's going to be running into. Not anything too crazy. But overall, that's just, something we need to just continue watching here on the satellite view. But we'll see. Well, so we're going to do another update tonight. We're going to do another update probably around 9 o'clock p.m. So whenever we do this next update, I will obviously go over the, the overall satellite view and everything like that again anyways. But let's go ahead and hop our way over here to the GFS, my friends. Let's go ahead and hop you guys over here to the North Atlantic. We're going to start off here. There's actually a run coming through right now, but it's not to the point where it can, it's not to the point where it's up here yet. But we work our way down in time. Now, if you guys want to follow along in time, remember this is Eastern time zone, okay? 2 o'clock p.m. Eastern for September 10th. So this is literally in like 2 hours from now, okay? So we're talking the storm being right in this area. So we work our way down in time. So you can see as we work our way through the 11th, through the 12th, we're continuing to move northwest. And once we hit the 13th, look what happens. It starts pulling to the north. Now, the reason it's starting to pull to the north here is because if we take a look at the winds, you can see we got ourselves a big jet of air that is basically going over Florida and cranking its way to the northeast. So that is going to allow for this system here, as it continues on its northwest departure here, as it continues moving to the northwest, this thing will eventually, obviously come in contact with that winds, and it'll start to change its direction and move its way to the north. So that is why the thing is steering. That's why the overall, system is steering here overall. Now, if you look closely, the reason why this is steering is because we actually have a cold front. We actually have a little frontal system, a little low-pressure system driving a cold front. Got some air pulling down from the backside, and we got some air pulling up from the front side. That's where your strong winds are. That's moving the storm. So if you look, we do have ourselves a big ridge, a big area of high pressure over here, and a big area of high pressure up here. So that's going to kind of squeeze it just to allow it to continue moving to the north, not go too far east, not go too far west. It's just going to go straight up the middle more than likely. It's a good possibility. It's a good possibility, as you're going to see the models have been talking about. We continue to track our way down in time, and you can see we do get a little nudge to the east, but it does, the GFS model is still supporting this thing get right there next to Nova Scotia there. The GFS has been kind of pinpointing this area here for the last couple of days now. It seems like this could be a possible area of impact. So if you're in Nova Scotia, like I was saying, definitely need to monitor the progression of the storm, as it's, a possibility it could cause some direct impacts or indirect impacts. Regardless, there's going to be some form of impacts on the coast that we definitely do need to be watching out for overall. But yeah, the GFS model, once again, has the storm turning to the northwest, and it turns to the north here right for the 13th and the 14th. It gets kind of parallel right next to Bermuda, so that little speck right there, that is Bermuda. It's kind of hard to see. But this would be right next to Bermuda, kind of for the late 14th into the early 15th here overall. Then it'll be up here towards the northeast between the 16th and the 17th, okay? It'll be up there by the northeast between the 16th and 17th. So that is something that you need to, watch out for. Once again, the impact days would be between the 16th, the 17th, and even the 18th will be the impact days. You'll mostly feel it between the late 16th into the 17th and through the 18th. Across some of those areas in the northeast potentially. So got to keep an eye out there for it. Now let's go and take a look here over at the European model. So I know, remember yesterday how the European model was going absolutely crazy. So if you don't remember, I'll go ahead and show you guys a little bit of a recap. So yesterday's run, we were talking about has the storm going right up to the northeast. That was this model yesterday overall. Like I said, I don't, as you're going to see right now, things have changed a lot, even with the latest. But the previous run before this one was still all over the place. Had it going this way, and then that run we just looked at had it going, straight there for the coast. And then the new run you're going to see kind of agrees there with the GFS and hitting Nova Scotia. So it seems like that's going to be a good possibility here. That's what I was saying. In Nova Scotia, you should definitely consider watching this here overall, because it seems like the majority of the models are still continuing to support the impact here right over Nova Scotia. Okay, so definitely got to keep an eye out there. Pressure is right around 962, so the winds could be an upper tropical storm force expectancy, either upper tropical storm force or lower NCAT 1. That's kind of the strength I think it's possibly going to be as it approaches some of those regions. It's not going to be a powerful major hurricane or anything like that by the time it reaches these areas of the waters, but it will definitely still be a powerful system, very large system overall. In general, that we're going to need to be looking out there for. Let's see here. Black Label says, happy Sunday. Fun day from Tampa. What's up, Black Label? Hope you're doing good. Let's see here. Vicky says, thanks. Let's see. You're very welcome. Let's see here. Well, what's up, everybody? If you guys are just joining us, obviously, I hope your day is going great. Glad to have you guys here. Like I said, we're here just to give you guys a little update on the tropics in terms of what's going on. But like I said, yeah, the GFS model, the European model, has it going there right next to Nova Scotia, actually going over Nova Scotia there. We got another model. This is the CMC. This is a CMC model here. And whenever it comes to this in particular run, we actually have a new model running, coming out right now. But from the latest one that goes fully out, once again, has it hitting Nova Scotia there. So it seems like that's kind of common ground now between the models, as it, definitely could be getting in that overall general direction here for the most part. So definitely got to, consider watching this. Once again, like I was saying, guys, we are going to be seeing a lot of coastal impacts here, in regarding to rip currents across the U.S. East Coast, as well as, like I said, in terms of swelling as well. Got to keep an eye out there for that. The swelling, the overall, coastal impacts and stuff like that is kind of what we are seeing here overall. Like I said, even if the system doesn't get near the U.S., it's still going to cause, coastal impacts, like I said, with the rip currents and all that stuff going on there. Let's see here. My cruise is going to the Bahamas this weekend. How will the weather be? So, for this, are you talking, like, the next weekend? Because we're on Sunday. Are you talking, like, next weekend? The weather should be back to normal for the most part. There is another system we need to keep an eye out there for. Another possible disturbance. That's what I was saying. The Hurricane Center, they actually mentioned this here. Talking about another little area of development, actually 2 areas here of possible development. So we're actually watching out for another two areas that could develop in the tropical system. So we have one right here that has a medium 30% chance of development, and apparently that's orange for medium. But throughout the next 7 days, there's a 30% chance this could turn into another storm. But then we have this big one here. Within the next 2 days, it's not expected to develop because the low has not crossed off the west side of Africa yet, but we do have a 30% chance of development as of right now in the next 7 days. I do expect those probabilities to increase because there's a lot of model support on it. Between the GFS, between the European model, between a lot of the other models here overall are definitely actually supporting this. So we've got to keep an eye out there for this other system here. Obviously, we have no idea what's going to happen with this guy here overall, but we'll definitely just need to, keep an eye out there regardless. But anyways, yeah, so that's kind of what we're seeing here. We're going to hop back over here. So let's see. The Icon model is another one we can look at here. This is a fresh run actually just coming through. So in terms of what this model shows, this one, wow. Okay, according to the Icon, it has it pulling in towards the northeast. Now, like I said, there's not too much support. I mean, there's a little bit of support of it hitting towards the northeast, but it seems like from what we've learned on the models so far as of right now, It seems like that, the system is more than likely going to track up there, maybe towards Nova Scotia. However, like I said, obviously for the northeast, it's these areas we got to really be looking out for the most part. We got to definitely keep an eye out there for those areas up in the northeast here overall because, like I said, those are the areas that I think that personally could get, the most heavy impacts out of the system. But like I said, the models right now are kind of leaning, in there towards, Nova Scotia being impacted here overall. But that is, kind of what we're talking about. Let's see. Wyatt coming in with a $5 super chat. Wyatt, thank you so much, man. It's very sweet of you. I appreciate it. Let's see here. Saying another day, another donation. I appreciate it, Wyatt. Thank you so much. That's very sweet of you. Big shout out goes to you, my friend. Thank you so much. Very nice of you. Definitely helps out. Keeps all the programs up and running. Thank you so much once again, Wyatt. Very sweet of you. Let's see, icon model is a German model, relatively accurate. Crazy how so's, let's see, Margot heading straight eastward. Let's see here. Oh yeah, I see that. Look at that. It takes like a 90-degree angle. Do you see that? Just goes like straight up and just instantly turns to the east here overall. But then, like I said, guys, we got another little possible wave that's going to come off the west coast of Africa here for basically next week. Kind of for late this week, I should actually say. Let's see here. Mimi says, hello, I just subscribed. I'm new here. Thanks for the stream. Well, first of all, thank you for subscribing. Very sweet of you. I appreciate it. Thank you for the support. And like I said, I'm glad to have you here. Hope everything's going good with you. Hope you're having a great day so far. Goes to everybody out there. Hope you guys are doing good. All right, we're going to go and hop you guys over here to the spaghetti models overall. Once again, Wyatt, it's a little late coming through on my stream, but thank you so much, Wyatt. That was very sweet of you. I appreciate it. So here is the spaghetti models. I'm sure you guys have probably heard these whenever you track the tropics. So obviously over the next, basically 2 to 3 days or so, over the next 2 to 3 days overall, we are expecting this system to continue on a northwest movement. So this is obviously kind of expected. This is obviously what we're seeing right now. That is going to happen. Now, right now, the storm is actually just passing to the north, of the Lesser Antilles. Lesser Antilles is way down here. You can't see it on the map, but they're getting some pretty big waves out there on the northern side. As expected, the storm is producing some pretty big waves, and those waves will impact pretty much the entire east coast of the U.S. With rip currents and all that stuff. But anyways, back over to the models here. The spaghetti models continues to the northwest, and you can obviously see once we approach day 3, which would be here for basically Tuesday, right around Tuesday, it looks like. So we're talking right around the 13th, actually. So kind of right there between the 13th and the 14th. So that'll be more of Wednesday. So anyways, but we are going to see this overall motion pull to the north. It's going to be going from the northwest, and it's going to start to pull its way to the north. And you can see all the models here has this thing pulling north. Like I said, the reason why we have this overall movement here is moving it to the north is because, like I said, we got ourselves a big jet of air. Let's go ahead and show you guys real quickly. I'm going to pull up the... actually, let's go and move over to the North Atlantic. Here we go. North Atlantic, and we'll take a look here at the overall wind shear. Here we go. So, like I was explaining here, what's going to be happening is we just get this big jet of air. You see it right there going right over Florida and tracking to the northeast. So that's going to keep Florida and portions of the southeast protected overall. Like I said, that's going to keep the southeast protected overall from a landfall. So obviously if you guys are worried about it in the southeast, you guys are fine. Like I said, we're not expecting any landfall up there towards Florida, Georgia, or the Carolinas. I think we're good. We're not expecting any landfall because, like I said, this jet is going to come and save the day. This jet stream is going to come and save the day here overall. This big jet that's going to be popping up. So, and like I said, with the jet moving to the northeast here and the storm's overall movement moving to the west, they're going to kind of clash. And you're going to notice how the storm's going to start to steer to the north as it rolls into that stronger winds, in which that is going to possibly allow it to even weaken. As you guys know, with the tropical systems, they tend to weaken quite a bit once they run into strong winds. So that's not a part of the hurricane itself. Once they start to run into those winds from other systems and jet streams and stuff like that, that is going to probably help it weaken a bit and also, like I said, steer its direction here overall. So that is something to pay attention to. But then, like I said, we continue down in time here. Here's actually the latest GFS. Yep, here's the latest one. Right there at the end of the run, and has it going right there next to Nova Scotia. So it seems like that's a possible area of impact. It looks like it comes pretty close to the northeast, too, according to the latest GFS model. Like I said, this is just now coming through. This is the latest. I mean, it does not go any further than this point here. So, and you can see, like I said, that turn to the north. Once again, you guys can see the time here. Right up there, this is Eastern time. But you can actually see, like I was saying, is it pulls its way to the northwest until we reach here for the 13th into the 14th. That high pressure is going to help keep it away from the mid-Atlantic more than likely. And then, like I said, obviously the high pressure, starts to build in across the northeastern quadrant, which is going to kind of funnel it maybe towards Nova Scotia and the areas of the northeast. I think that is a good possibility here overall. So that's the new GFS model. That's the overall run with the GFS as of right now. So, like I said, seems like that is the decent possibility as of right now. So, like I said, if you guys are across the northeastern U.S. as well as Nova Scotia, you should definitely monitor the progression of the system very closely. We should know about a day or two from now pretty good on where this thing is going to hit overall. But it seems like the confidence in the overall model agreement here, like I said, it seems like the confidence in the model agreement is pretty high across areas here in the Northeast and Nova Scotia. So, it would not hurt to just keep an eye on it and get, start getting prepared for it, just to be safe. I'd say just make sure you have, like I said, make sure you have all of your hurricane stuff together. I know there's not too many canes to happen out here, but like I said, just as a precautionary, it's better to be over-prepared. It's better to be prepared than not be prepared, okay? So like I said, even if it does steer its way off to the northeast, that would be really good. But like I said, just to be prepared, I'd recommend, keeping an eye on the system here overall. Let's see here. Only Cat 1 intensity guidance model. Yeah, no, it's probably going to be a tropical storm or Category 1. Even though the pressure that low, it's just such a massive system. It's a very large system overall. It's not like a small compacted hurricane. It's a big boy. It's a really big hurricane, in which we're going to have to definitely watch it overall. Let's see here. But yeah, so that's kind of what we're talking about. So let's go ahead and hop over here to the ensemble. That's something we did not look at yet. So we have two ensemble models to look at. So first up, we got the GEFS. So this is kind of similar to the spaghetti models, although it's just one in particular model with a bunch of what we call members, a bunch of mini models. So overall, with this track here from the was this the GEFS one? Yes, the GEFS. So with the GEFS, once again, continued northwest movement for the next 3 days or so. Then it pulls to the north here for the 13th and 14th. Comes pretty close to Bermuda. It seems like it's almost a certainty this system's going to remain well to the west of Bermuda. We have the closest member here getting, just about probably 25, 30 miles off the coast of Bermuda here. But for the most part, you can see all the models are to the west. All the members are to the west here. Then we continue working our way down in time. You can see a couple of members gets their way kind of close to the northeast. That's a possibility. Like I said, the northeast has got to still watch out for this system. The northeast has got to watch it, as well as Nova Scotia should definitely keep an eye on it. But you can see the middle model, that line of best fit, that middle ground goes right over Nova Scotia. Seems like a good possibility. It really doesn't show too many members going out to sea, unfortunately. So it kind of looks like the fact that we might be seeing landfall somewhere out of the system down in time. That's kind of the new information we have for you guys, is the fact that it looks like it's the most likely scenario is that it's going to hit land somewhere up in either the northeast or up in Nova Scotia. It seems like Nova Scotia is kind of the area we need to pinpoint, or that we're pinpointing for now. But like I said, once again, northeast, got to keep an eye on it. Obviously, Nova Scotia, keep an eye on it as well. And obviously, we'll just continue monitoring this over the next little bit. We got ourselves more members here. This one's a little more sporadic. This is the GEPS ensemble. So continued northwest motion. You can see all of them having it pull into the north here. There's only one member, as you can see, has it going right next to, just right to the east, I should say, of Bermuda. It's just one in particular member. But the main density, the main overall group of the member runs here, you can see has it just kind of right there where that middle line is. So that's pretty compacted, so the model's agreeing fairly well with that. But then you can see as we work up towards the north here, you can see obviously how things start to scatter out a bit. A couple ensembles having it go right there towards Maine and those regions. Most of them kind of go towards Nova Scotia, as well as a couple kind of pull a little hard to the east. Like I said, it seems like the majority of the models is kind of what we're looking at. Like I said, the GFS, the ECMWF, we had the Icon, we had the CMC model, we have these ensembles, the GEPS, the GEFS, all of the models are kind of averaging to hit right next to Nova Scotia. So that's what I'm saying. Nova Scotia, it would not hurt for you guys to start preparing for this storm here. Like I said, I'd even say portions of the northeast, just make sure that you're watching out for it, especially if you live near the coast, because regardless, we're going to be seeing some heavy effects out of the system here with the big waves. I mean, like I said, literally from, a lot of the Caribbean islands, a lot of the, like I said, the southeast, the mid-Atlantic, and the northeast is going to feel some really big waves from this. Rip currents, all kinds of stuff like that. Is going to be a problem, and which we're going to need to be looking out there for. Now, I'm going to go ahead and take you guys over here to the wave forecast here from the European ECMWF model. This will tell us exactly, the size of the waves is a good, kind of potentially what we're going to be seeing here overall. So let's go ahead and hop you guys over to that here right now. So let's go ahead and jump you guys over here. So this is the, once again, this is the ECMWF model. This is the European model. Let's go ahead and turn on dark mode here. I think it looks a little better. Anyways, but we work our way down in time, and you can see this big wall of big waves working their way out there towards the U.S. East Coast. So you can kind of see as we work our way into the 12th and the 13th, we're going to get those waves to be pretty big across the southeast here. You can see that, the yellow color table here lines up with about 10 plus feet being a possibility out there. That's what I'm saying. The swelling of water as well as rip currents is going to be a problem with this system here overall. Now, if I go ahead and bring you all, let's just see, I'm going to bring down to the latest run. But you can see all those areas out there by the Caribbean. They're probably going to get some really big waves here. You can see it getting a really close approach there to the Bahamas. We're talking in the red there. Probably 20-plus foot waves could be possible just out there near the, out there near the Bahamas there. And as we track our way down in time, you can see those waves are going to get pretty serious along the mid-Atlantic coastline here between, the Carolinas and Virginia. We're talking waves here of at least 10 plus feet, and we're talking some areas just off the coast here, maybe towards like Nags Head in eastern North Carolina. We're talking the possibility here of some of those wave heights being probably 20 plus foot, being a good possibility. And according to this, like I said, depending on where this thing makes landfall, or if it makes landfall, that's where the waves are obviously going to be the highest. Obviously Nova Scotia seems to be the heaviest impact point as of right now. And it does kind of show that, obviously coastal Nova Scotia here could be in the range of at least 35 plus. Unfortunately, you can see the maximum wave height as of right now, according to that in particular frame, is around 85 feet there towards the core. So we're talking some really, really big, like I said, we're talking some really, really big potential here in terms of waves with this system here overall. So that's that. Let's see here. Wow, Gen Z, weather informer, new to the channel. Appreciate it. Yep. But anyways, but that's just something we need to watch out there for. Like I said, it's something that's going to need to be monitored. The waves, I think, is going to be a big problem in terms of the surf. Like I said, there's going to be a lot of issues regarding the potential here with those rip currents, the swelling of the water, because we're just going to get these waves pushing inland across a lot of the U.S. East Coast here overall. Let's see here. Mimi coming in with a $10 super chat. Thank you so much, Mimi. That's very sweet. Much appreciated. You did not have to do that. Saying great video with explanations. Thank you. Coffee for your Sunday. Oh, thank you so much, Mimi. That's very, very sweet. That's much appreciated. You did not have to do that. Like I said, guys, this channel is never about the money. I don't care about the money. It really helps. Like I said, it helps out, yes. But like I said, the only point of this channel is to make sure you guys are being prepared and to make sure you guys are obviously aware of the situation. That is all I care about here, is keeping you guys safe and all of that stuff. So, like I said, we'll be here for you guys during the craziest and the lowest ends of the hurricane season and just general weather. But once again, Mimi, thank you so much. That is very sweet of you. Much appreciated. Much love to you. Guys, please in the chat give Mimi a big thank you. That is very, very sweet. But, all right, so guys, like I said, we're going to hop back over to the current cone here. Like I said, we're going to take a look at what's going on right now. So, once again, as of the latest update, this was the 11 a.m. update. The storm is a Category 2 hurricane. Now, like I said, it's almost a Cat 3. It's literally only a couple mile an hour off. So right now we're talking, sustained winds of 110. Obviously, higher gusts into Category 3 hurricane force winds is ongoing with the storm. But sustained winds of 110. Now, according to be a Category 3 plus, it has to have sustained winds of 111 plus. So you can see we're just 1 mile an hour short. A single uptrend, a single tick, even by a mile an hour, would throw this thing back into a Category 3. Like I said, it's literally the top overall. Is topping out here at the Category 2 marker. So it's basically between Cat 2 and Cat 3 right now. But anyways, yeah, so sustained of 110. Like I said, we're going to work our way down into this evening. It looks like we're going to get a bit of intensification that's going to be happening here over the next little bit. So once again, it was at 110, and by this evening, right around 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern time overall, we're talking the possibility here of, those winds being sustained right around 120, with gusts getting up to right around 150 miles per hour. That is going to be some pretty big wind gusts out there, which that's gusting up into upper Cat 4 strength here overall. And speaking of Category 4, there is a Cat 4 still expected out of the storm here. This thing is expected to, kick back up in intensity here. We're seeing the possibility here of this thing becoming a Category 4 right here for the afternoon, evening for the 11th here. Seeing sustained winds of 130, which that's, lower end Category 4 hurricane with wind gusts getting up to 160 overall. It doesn't last the Cat 4 for too long, according to the latest cone overall from the Hurricane Center. Kind of, just barely even making it to Category 4. Like I said, I wouldn't be surprised if it just stays a Cat 3 overall. With the currents, how close this is. A single mile an hour under 130 would be a Category 3. So that's what I'm saying. It barely makes Cat 4. But then it instantly weakens not too much later. I mean, it only stays this way for like 12 hours or so. I mean, it doesn't stay Cat 4 for long, and then it starts to go in a weakening trend as it pulls to the north, and it starts to run into that wind shear we were talking about. Like I was saying, what's going to be one of the main things overall is the wind shear. That's going to, start to weaken the storm and the cooler waters. I mean, it's going to have a little bit of warm water for a while, but that'll eventually cool it down as it approaches areas of the north. But let me go ahead and show you guys real quickly back over here to the models exactly what I'm talking about, so I can kind of show you guys a visual of what's going on here. So I'm just going to do that right now. So here's the GFS model, the American GFS overall. Like I said, in terms of what I'm talking about, that is Lee right here. This little area of low pressure is Lee. We got a little bit of venting, turning clockwise. That's normal for hurricanes in the upper levels. But we work our way down in time, and you notice there's a big jet stream, or a big jet that pops up right here going over Florida, and it's cranking its way to the northeast. And like I said, with the storm right now, the storm is working its way here to the northwest. So eventually it's going to run into the stronger winds, and that's going to allow it to start to turn to the north. And with that turning motion, because of the winds as well as the winds itself, the winds are going to be pretty strong, and they're going to be hitting one side of the hurricane, and that's going to allow it to kind of rip apart its structure. It's going to honestly make this system, it's going to weaken the storm a bit as it continues tracking to the north here. So it's going to weaken a bit by those winds that are going to be, aiming at its western quadrant, in which, definitely got to, we got to watch out for it, and just to see how much it weakens at that point, because the winds are going to be pretty strong blowing right on that hurricane, which is, going to destabilize the structure. Is another thing I want to mention too, is you can see a lot of dry air gets pulled up into the storm as well. So the brown is showing really low humidity, really dry conditions overall. Obviously the bluish green color is kind of where we have the opposite effect, a lot of humid, moisture-filled air. And you can really see here at this time being for the afternoon, evening of the 15th, we get ourselves a lot of dry air pulling from the mid-Atlantic and just getting sucked into the right-hand side of the storm. So that could leave the convection to the left-hand side, or the thunderstorms to the left-hand side of the storm overall. That could be a problem, help weaken the storm here. So between the winds and obviously the moisture, the dry air, I should say, it's going to allow to rapidly weaken as it continues pulling to the north. Then it's going to go post-tropical, and it's going to get right next to portions here of the northeast, as well as Nova Scotia. That seems to be the area of possible impact. So, like I was explaining before, guys, it would not hurt to start getting ready for the storm if you live across some of the areas in the northeast in Nova Scotia. Like I said, I would be watching if you live across some of those regions there, just to make sure, that you guys are ready for this. Like I said, you don't have to go full-blown out shopping and get everything done right now. I mean, you don't have to run the stores dry or anything like that. But like I said, you it wouldn't hurt to just, prepare for it, just get ready for it. Like I said, it's better to be safe than sorry. Overall, like I said, it's better to be prepared than underprepared. So like I said, just little things. Start off with little things, and if it becomes more serious, then do more shopping. That's basically what I'm saying here. Where do I think this will make landfall? I think Nova Scotia might be a possible area. It seems like that's where the models are really starting to target here. For example, the new GFS shows it going right over Nova Scotia, getting a pretty close call to the northeast, though. The latest European model, being the Zero Zulu run, shows the system here overall tracking right over Nova Scotia. You can see, going right over there, so that's 2 for 2. Whenever it comes to the CMC model, it goes right over Nova Scotia, so that's 3 for 3. Whenever it comes to Icon model, it actually pulls to the northeast. So that's 3 out of 4 models showing it going right over Nova Scotia. So that's what I'm saying. It's really those areas in the northeast, and Nova Scotia that needs to prepare for this here. It's mostly those areas that we need to be looking out for overall with the system, because there is still things that are going to change. We're going to get some more information on the storm as it continues over the next couple of days, but it seems like the storm is going to be tracking up in those general directions of the northeast as well as Nova Scotia. So got to keep an eye out there overall for it. Let's see here. But yeah, so that's kind of what we're looking at. Let's see. What about the other storm out there? Will it affect Jamaica? That's way too early to tell. If you're talking, that's this guy right here. So like I said, guys, if you don't know, there's another system that's going to be rolling off the west coast of Africa here in the next couple of days. Right now, like I said, it's going to be working its way to the west. Little tropical wave here. Could become a depression by, like I said, I'd say by later on this weekend or later on this week, it could be a depression. We'll have to keep an eye out there for it. But like I said, yeah, a lot of models supports it. Like I said, the GFS supports it overall. The European model supports the system as well. So I think we could see a tropical depression here, basically by the later portion of this week. I think it's a good possibility overall. So we'll need to, just monitor it. Like I said, obviously, at that point later on this week, there's a lot of things that can change. So we really don't know where it's going to head in this direction. Or we're not really sure where it's going to go, I should say, at this point yet. But we'll have to just monitor its progression overall. Let's see here. What do we have for? Let's see. What do we have for where and how strong Hurricane Lee is hitting? Says Penny. I'm sorry. What? What? Hold on. What do we have for where and how strong Hurricane Lee is hitting? So, I think I know what you're saying. So, like I said, where we think it's probably going to go near is Nova Scotia. I think it's going to hit right there near Nova Scotia. I think that's a good possibility, considering, like I said, the models have been really anchoring on that point there for quite a few days now. Actually, it seems like it's kind of a gradual, trend here that's been happening over the last couple of days. I really do think it's a good possibility that this thing could pull up towards those regions here. Because like I said, the GFS, the newest run, still running right now, but, it shows it going right over Nova Scotia potentially. ECMWF, that European model here, shows it going right there over Nova Scotia. CMC, right over Nova Scotia. So, like I said, you're kind of starting to see a little bit of a trend here of this thing potentially working its way up here to the northeast region and, overall Nova Scotia potentially. So, like I said, just got to keep an eye out there for those regions here over the next couple of days here. Absolutely. Let's see here. Let's see, that's good. The Florida doesn't need a hurricane right at the moment. Yeah, no, Florida's fine. Florida, the only problem we're going to be seeing out there is, like I said, the wave potential. Because you can see here in the later runs, or in the later portion of the storm. Here, I'm actually full screen this for you guys. Right as we approach, the peak, well, the peak for Florida's coastline will be kind of right here for the 15th, where you can see, the central, northeastern side here of Florida, kind of has the system here potentially, producing waves maybe up to 10 plus feet. So it's going to be pretty big waves overall. I think that areas like Bermuda, look at that, Bermuda could be getting some waves over 30, 40 plus feet, which is going to be a problem for, obviously boaters out there. So you obviously got to be, if you're going out in the boat, you got to be planning your route around the storm here, because this is going to be really swelling up the West Atlantic here for quite a little bit. And like I said, obviously depending on if it makes landfall, where it makes landfall, if it does, those waves would be the highest. Probably be pretty gnarly out there. You can see, according to the model here, it shows some of those waves being probably 50 plus foot. Still obviously overall, things that can change. It still definitely can change, but just kind of got what we got going on right here at the moment. Let's see here. Can we see spaghetti models? Yep. So here's the latest spaghetti models. You can see there's Bermuda, that little speck right there. These are the Bahamas. That is Haiti. And this is Puerto Rico. Sorry, not Puerto Rico. Dominican Republic. So whenever it comes to it, this thing tracks its way to the northwest. Like I said, right there at that 72-hour mark here, you can see overall this system for the next 3 days. Basically, for the next 3 days here overall, the system essentially, starts to pull to the north. So right now it's going to be gradual northwest movement here for the next 3 days. And then right around the 13th and the 14th, it's going to start really pulling to the north here because of that that strong jet that we're going to be having pushing its way to the northeast. So it's going to allow the storm motion to turn here overall and continue tracking to the north. And like I said, the system is expected to remain just west of Bermuda. Pretty much all the models show this thing west of Bermuda at this point, so that seems like a really good potential. So obviously, we're still going to be feeling some effects out there towards Bermuda. I wouldn't even be surprised if we did get some tropical storm force winds. Just considering how large the system is forecasted to be here overall, I definitely would not be surprised if that is the case here. For example, let me actually go ahead and hop you guys over here to the, let's see, out there. Actually, you know what? Let's do this. Go over to the GFS, and we'll go to Lee, and we'll hop down over here. So let's go ahead and actually full screen this as well. Here we go. So according to the GFS model, we're going to take a look at the lower level winds here. So whenever it comes to it, you can see the size of the storm. You can see it's a decent size, but look at the perspective of how big it gets later on in its life cycle. So according to, like I said, according to GFS, for areas here towards Bermuda, like I said, obviously we are seeing possible tropical storm force winds, maybe 40 to 50 knots, which that would be within lower tropical storm status. So I think that those tropical storm force winds could be a potential possibility. Plus, like I said, those really big waves overall. Big waves, maybe up to, I hate to say it, maybe 20 to 30 plus foot. Could be a possibility out there around Bermuda, as well as like the tropical storm force winds being a possibility. The European model, whenever it comes to this, exact moment here, as we work way down in time, Bermuda, according to the European model, still potentially could see some tropical storm force winds on that right-hand flank of the storm. You can actually see the winds are right around 40 to 45 knots, which, like I said, is lower end tropical storm force. So 2 out of 2 models does support that here overall. Overall, it's definitely something that needs to be, looked at here. Here's the HWRF model. This one has it pulling to the north, and actually, it does have it. Here, let's go ahead and actually do the zoomed-in version. It actually does have this thing getting a little close. It's kind of hard to see where Bermuda is at. It didn't pop up at this point being, but the wind feels so massive, I just would not be surprised if those areas out by Bermuda does get possibly tropical storm force conditions here overall. So, let's see here. We have HAFS, known to be one heck of a crazy model. It's definitely a crazy model, but according to this in particular one, yeah, there you go. Bermuda, can't even see it, but you can't see it. I can. So it's literally at the last frame. It's right here, right in this little area here. So you can't see it. I might be able to do something for you. You know what? Let's full screen this. There you go. Now you can see it. So that's Bermuda right there, and you can see obviously the winds are right around 40 knots. That would be sustained. So that's talking right around tropical storm force. So I would not be surprised if Bermuda gets some tropical storm watches here soon. As I think it's a possibility that the thing could produce tropical storm force winds. I think tropical storm conditions, as well as some big waves out there. Like I said, according to the models, in terms of Bermuda right there, as it approaches, you can see Bermuda is actually kind of in that 30 plus zone. Kind of in like that pinkish kind of white color. Kind of goes in actually 40 plus, maybe towards 50. I don't want to say that high right now, but it seems like that is a good possibility overall. So we'll have to keep an eye out there for it. Let's see here. Jo says, okay, thanks, mate. You're very welcome. You are very, very welcome. Let's see here. Lynn says, is this right turn due to the cold front? Yes, it is. So what's going on here, essentially, here, I'll go ahead and show you real quickly. So what's going on, essentially, with this right now is we're going to be getting ourselves a jet, an upper level, or, current of air across the levels of the atmosphere from the surface to upper levels. So you can see how it's going to be moving to the northeast, and that's going to be basically steering the storm to move in that general direction. As the storm right now is currently moving northwest, it's going to cause it to interact with those winds and cause it to steer to the north here. Which obviously, with the strong winds as well, that is going to allow for the possibility here of, the storm to weaken due to the structure being kind of ripped apart by those winds overall. That is kind of what we're looking at there. Let's see here. Will Lee affect Connecticut in some way? So for Connecticut, overall, and regarding to the system, let's actually move our way up here to the northeast. I'll go ahead and show you between the models here. So whenever it comes to Connecticut, obviously for the coastal areas here, of Connecticut, I would say it's a possibility that there could be some big swelling, some big waves potentially out there. That goes for like Long Island in general, areas here towards Connecticut, Rhode Island, and obviously Massachusetts here too. So whenever it comes to it, like I said, I think there's going to be some big potential here overall. With the possibility of some big waves. We'll have to monitor for like direct wind impacts, direct impacts here overall. But we'll just have to we'll keep an eye on it. We'll definitely just keep an eye out there for this here overall. Let's see here, back over here at the winds. Yeah, you can see according to GFS, those winds definitely do get pretty nasty out there towards areas like Cape Cod, Massachusetts. I'd say it wouldn't be impossible to see some pretty heavy conditions out there. But it's, like I said, we'll have to work it out over the next few days. And regarding its track, I mean, like I was explaining here, it seems like most of the models are kind of aimed right at Nova Scotia at the moment. But we'll just have to keep an eye on it. We'll just have to see overall how it does over the next little bit. But like I said, we'll make sure to keep you guys informed and keep you guys posted here on this. I mean, like I said, we're going to be live here again tonight to, get you guys covered overall on the system and stuff like that. Because like I said, obviously, information's key, and like I said, as soon as we get some information out, we'll let you guys know what we find out and stuff like that. Let's see, have New York ever had a hurricane make landfall there? Yep, we had Hurricane Sandy. I was actually a part of that. I was in Northern Virginia at the time, which is isn't too far from New York. I mean, it's not terribly too far. It's probably like 4 hours away. But whenever it was there, we got some big winds and a lot of rain from it. I mean, some people would say this is kind of similar to, some people would say this is kind of similar to Sandy in some ways, but it looks like it might pull a little more east than Sandy did. Let's see, hurricane winds in New York, unlikely. At the moment, yeah, I would say they're pretty unlikely to see hurricane force winds in New York. The only thing we got to look out for, areas near Long Island, kind of near New York, is, like I said, the rip currents, the swelling, all of that. Let's see, how do you do the Europe model on tropical tidbits? I'm new to this stuff. You go to Global, go to ECMWF, and then you select North Atlantic, and then you select the right run, and there you go. But yeah, the latest run from the European model actually has this thing. So remember yesterday, guys, the European model was actually showing the system here overall. It was kind of alarming to some people. It kind of pulled north and actually went straight into the northeast. But now I'm here to tell you, the new European model has it not hitting the northeast, but going right back at where it was in the beginning, Nova Scotia. Like I said, once again, European model has it hitting Nova Scotia. We have ourselves GFS model has it hitting Nova Scotia. We have the CMC model has it hitting Nova Scotia. We have Icon, which Icon actually agrees. Actually, we have a new run coming through, and it looks like it's kind of pulling north here. But the Icon model here, regarding the last full run, has this thing working its way up, maybe a little closer to the towards Maine, maybe, but it still ultimately goes right. The heaviest ultimately still ends up in Nova Scotia there, for the most part. So, like I said, most of the models at this point definitely does support this thing getting up towards those regions. I mean, yes, things can change still. I definitely can tell you that they will more than likely change a little bit. But it seems like we're starting to get a little bit more information as the system is getting a little closer to making that turn. We're going to get some more information on the system overall. Here's some ensembles here from the GEFS model. Like I said, some of the members has it getting a little close to the northeast overall, but it seems like most of the density we were talking about, the density of the the main members and stuff like that, has it right over Nova Scotia. So, if I was to place bets on this, I would say it's going to go right next to Nova Scotia, if not over Nova Scotia. So, if you're in those areas, like I said, it would not hurt to start preparing for this, start to keep an eye on the storm here. Like I said, you don't have to go full-blown shopping and stuff like that right now, but like I said, just keep an eye on it for the next couple of days. Maybe grab some, things here and there, start, collecting on things, not everything all at once. I mean, like I said, just to make sure, if it does turn, then you'll be good. So, like I said, it's just better to be safe. It's definitely better to be prepared than, ultimately not prepared. And so, like I said, that kind of goes for areas of the Northeast as well. I'd say in these areas here, we just got to monitor it. We just got to monitor it mostly for those regions there. I think portions of the Mid-Atlantic and the South, the Southeast are, pretty much good to go in terms of landfall status. I don't think it's going to make landfall anywhere there. But overall, that's just, kind of what it seems to be. It seems like the most likelihood of this thing, making that landfall approach would be somewhere in this region here. So, we'll just keep an eye on it. we'll keep you guys posted. Let's see. Thank you so much. You're very welcome. Let's see. East Coast about to get some good surf. Yeah, James, they are. But like I said, there's a problem too, though, with that. So obviously, yeah, we're getting some big waves out there. I understand a lot of people are going to want to go surfing, but just know there's some really big rip current risk too, okay? There's going to be some bad rip currents. You don't want to get caught up out of that. Anyone here from Nova Scotia? I think we've had quite a few people here. I know yesterday we had a handful of people that were from Nova Scotia. I'm sure we do, probably. So obviously, you just got to keep an eye on it for the next little bit there, guys. Just got to keep on watching the system here overall. Here's the satellite imagery, guys, in terms of the storm right now. So you can see... in the current time being, we're still getting a lot of convection there in the center of the storm. The system's still, holding together. It's actually trying to strengthen a bit more. Like I said, by later on this evening, the National Hurricane Center has the system here actually gaining about 10-mile-an-hour strength here overall. So this thing will possibly be, it's expected to be a Category 3 later on again today. Like I said, right now it's literally the highest Category 2 possible. So like I said, we're talking Category 2, upper Cat 2 right now. It should be into the lower Cat 3 by later on this evening here overall. Didn't Katrina reach Missouri? I'm not sure. Don't remember too much. I'd have to look it up, but I don't remember. The history about things is a little bit of something I'm not the greatest in, but in terms of forecasting and current analysis, that's where I'm best at. Let's see here. I saw a pro surfer on Fox Weather that was in Puerto Rico getting ready to surf. Yeah, that's obviously I get it that it's big waves and stuff, but you don't want to risk your life out there with rip current concerns, because that's a problem. It's going to be a problem. You can see out there towards the northern Lesser Antilles and Puerto Rico. I mean, they're getting some big waves right now, I should say, overall. Let's see. If Lee were to affect Connecticut directly, let's see here. Would it still hold Category 4 status? Oh, absolutely not. Absolutely not. No. If it was to hit those areas, it would honestly probably be an upper tropical storm status or lower Category 1 status. It wouldn't be anything monstrous, because, like I was explaining here, back over here to the models, I'll go and show you guys. So, like I was explaining, what's going to be happening with the system as it starts turning to the north. Let's go ahead and bring you guys over here again. Let's go ahead and, okay, here we go. So, as it works its way here to the west, like I said, over the next little bit, northwest here for the next few days, we're going to be getting amplified winds. That's going to be starting to kick off here across the areas of Florida. It's going to be, causing the storm to actually shift to the north overall. So as the storm actually does shift its way to the north here, we are going to see this thing continue barreling to the north overall, for the most part. But so those winds rubbing up against the side of the storm here, that's going to allow for the structure of the storm to start breaking down. It's going to allow for the structure to start weakening. The overall storm is going to start weakening overall. And on top of that, the amount of moisture, the amount of humidity that's in the atmosphere drastically gets dropped by a big amount of dry air that just gets sucked up into the storm as it approaches the Mid-Atlantic region, just off the coast of the Mid-Atlantic here. So you can see a lot of dry air is going to get sucked its way up here into the storm, which is also going to allow for further weakening here. And then, of course, the system, as it pushes even more northbound, for example, I'll go ahead and show you. Let's see here. As it approaches even more northbound here, you can see as it approaches, these waters up in here, it's a lot colder. So, for example, like I said, for tropical cyclones, here overall, like I said, for tropical systems here overall, we are talking essentially, for the area of development / sustainability, the waters have to be at least 26 degrees Celsius and warmer. For any sustainment, and anything higher than that would allow for some intensification. But you can see as the storm rolls through, it rolls into a little bit of weaker, a little bit cooler waters from Franklin, because obviously the rain cooled things down a bit. It's going to be hitting the Gulf Stream. Shouldn't be weakening too crazy, but once it turns into the cooler waters, it's going to go post-tropical, and then it's going to get near some of those areas here overall. So I pointed at Maine. Just kind of showing you direction. Once again, like I said, that's not where I'm expecting the landfall. That's just overall me telling you in the general direction. Like I said, I think across the Northeast and Nova Scotia should honestly monitor this here. Got to keep an eye on it for the next couple of days here. But yeah, once it passes north of the Gulf Stream, it's going to really start to lose a bit of strength. But no, it will not be Category 4. Like I said, I think if by the time it gets up into this region, it'll probably be tropical storm low in Cat 1. kind of what I'm thinking. Let's see here. Let's see, actually Cat 2 or Cat 1. I wouldn't say Cat 2. Like, I think things are being seriously underestimated by how strong the winds are going to help rip this storm apart. I would personally say that. I mean, for example, let me show you something real quickly. Back over here to the forecast models. Let me bring you... Okay, you know what? I'm going to zoom out here. We're going to go back to hurricane. We're going to take a look at the GFS. And we're going to go down to the latest and greatest run. So if we look at this, I'm actually going to full screen this so you guys can see it. But as the system approaches the north, look at this. Maximum winds, as it gets near Nova Scotia, we're talking like 50s. And like I say, it really starts to lower as it gets right next to Nova Scotia here. You can actually see maximum winds around 45 knots, or sorry, 46 knots. So the conversion of that would be in the tropical storm status. So let's see here, 46 knots. That would be 52 miles an hour sustained. So that would be middle level tropical storm. According to the ECMWF here, you know, with those sustained winds here, according to the latest and greatest, latest full run model from the European, shows the system, you know, as it approaches areas here towards the northeast. This one shows a little bit stronger. You can kind of see the, you know, right around the 60s, you know, just before landfall. So even at that point, 62 knots is 71 miles an hour, which is still upper tropical storm. Has to be 75 plus. It has to be 75 plus to be considered a Category 1 hurricane or a hurricane in general overall. So you can kind of see where I'm going with this. It seems like the models, because the system just gets really broad. I understand the pressure is very low, but it basically disperses that pressure over a greater distance because it's such a large storm. It allows the pressure to be very low with the wind still being in that tropical storm Category 1 status. So if you're going off the pressure alone, for the storm size sake, that's not really an accurate presentation to go off of overall. Let's see here. New SBC, okay. Yeah, we're not gonna be doing any coverage today, guys, because we have a lot of stuff going on here. My brother's actually coming back here. He went on the trip with my mom out to the west, so my brother's gonna come back here, and I'm gonna see him for today and tomorrow. Then he's flying back home to Florida. But then, like I said, less than a month, I'm actually moving in with my brother overall. So it'll be pretty cool. Let's see here. William says, okay, thanks. You're very welcome. When do I think it'll take the turn? Between the 13th and the 14th. So let me show you real quickly. So according to the models, back over here towards the North Atlantic. So like I said, we work our way down in time. You see it's moving to the northwest. Follow along the times right here, top, just above me. So 8 a.m. for September 11th here. So we work our way down in time. You can see it starts to turn north right there between the 13th into the 14th. See, it starts pulling north here, actually for probably the early 13th into the 14th there. So 13th into the 14th, it'll start pulling north here overall. Because like I said, we have this big current of wind, this big jet right here, that's going to be forcing the storm to push north instead. William says, I can't wait for hurricane season to end. Yeah, I hear you. I hear you. Unfortunately, like I said, we're at the peak of the hurricane season right now. We are at the peak of the hurricane season here at the moment overall. And, you know, like I said, obviously, we have a while to go until this, you know, overall dies out. Rob says, stop spreading lies. I have no lies on the system right now. I mean, you can literally even look from the Hurricane Center, and they'll say pretty much the same thing overall. So, Rob, instead of being a troll on here, dude, like I said, we don't need people like you around here. But like I said, yeah, this thing is going to pull to the northwest, then pull up to the north. Everything is true about this. I mean, literally all the ensemble models here shows this thing pulling north and getting near portions here of the northeast and portions towards Nova Scotia. And like I said, yeah, a lot of the models do support this. I mean, most of the models do have this here. Let's see here. Yeah, there's literally no lies about this. See, extreme coastal impacts down in Florida. Yeah, but there's going to be rip currents, you know. Look at this. Let me show you this. Would you look at that? We're seeing waves over 10 foot just off the coast of Florida. Not to mention, there's a big threat for rip currents that the National Hurricane Center even mentioned. What lies? I don't know what you're talking about, man. Maybe if you would actually study and you'd actually think of, you know, actually look at models and stuff, you would actually see the truth instead of just thinking that you're right, but you're not. So, Rob, like I said, get your mind out of the gutter, man. Seriously. But anyways, but yeah, so like I said, guys, we definitely just got to keep an eye on it. We definitely got to be watching out here for this here overall for the next couple of days. Like I said, in terms of the intensity, I don't think we looked at this actually. In terms of the intensity overall, you know, we are seeing between this, these are the spaghetti models. These are the overall spaghetti models here for the most part. We do see continuous, actually a bit of strengthening is expected. Like I said, by the time later on today, like I said, the Hurricane Center actually has this thing, like I said, becoming a, you know, becoming a Category 3 again. Like I said, right now it's 110 sustained. Later on this evening, we are seeing, like I said, the possibility here of the winds increasing to right around 130 here overall. So, you know, that is kind of what we are seeing here for the most part. So we are going to see that intensification start to happen here. And then, like I said, you can actually see how it, you know, kind of starts to even out and it just starts to, you know, rapidly just kind of drop off here overall. As it approaches into the cooler water there, into the cooler waters, the increased wind shear, and like I said, obviously that dry air that's going to get infiltrated in the storm as it approaches next to the, you know, as it approaches next to the mid-Atlantic view. So that's, like I said, we're going to be seeing this thing rapidly start to, you know, drop a bit. But like I was saying, yes, we are expecting impacts across the entire U.S. East Coast for the most part, throughout portions here of the Bahamas. Like I said, from basically Fort Lauderdale and up, like I said, we're seeing waves. You can see for yourself, European model. We are seeing, you see right there on the coastline, see how it's yellow? Look at the yellow color table, over 10-foot waves. This is in feet. So you see what I'm saying? We are going to be seeing that. See, trolls just want attention. Yeah, they do, unfortunately. I mean, probably because they didn't have too much attention as their childhood. But overall, yeah, no, I get it. You just got to ignore them, people. You know, that's a really good life lesson for you guys. It's just ignore the haters and just keep being you. That's what you got to do. You just got to keep on being yourself. Don't let anybody or anything change who you are. That is a very good life lesson for you guys. Okay? So always remember that. Let's see here. I'll be traveling to, let's see, is that, you mean Italy? Itala? Let's see here. Let's see, Sunday 9/17. Gotcha. I guess my flight will be delayed. The 17th? The storm should be mostly dying out around the 17th, actually. Seems like this, yeah, the 16th and 17th is like the main impact days. Okay, let me go ahead and show you all real quickly. We'll go ahead and hop back over here to the North Atlantic view. Back over here to tropical. Okay, here we go. So we work our way down in time here. You can see timing. Yep, there's the 17th. It's hitting up in, it's going to be near the northeast in Nova Scotia right here for around the 17th, and then it's going to kind of fade out a bit overall. Let's see here. Michael, coming in with a $2 super chat. Thank you so much, Michael. That's very sweet of you. I appreciate it. Saying 100% certainty. This is no fake news, Hurricane. Like I said, I'm here to give you guys the truth and nothing but the truth. Like I said, I care about y'all's safety. I care about you guys being prepared. Like I said, y'all, I'm here for you. I want to make sure that you guys are being prepared and that you guys are obviously aware of the situation. And like I said, we're going to be doing whatever I can to always make sure you guys are ready for these storms like this. And so keep you guys posted. But once again, Michael, thank you so much for that. It's greatly appreciated. Really means a lot. Appreciate all the support, guys. You guys absolutely rock. Let's see here. Just keep checking the airlines. Make sure you check a lot. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, keep it on the airlines for sure. Because like I said, whatever airline you're traveling with, they'll let you know if there's any delays or cancellations. So just, like I said, obviously I don't know what flight you're taking or anything like that. Nor do I even track that because, you know, I have a lot of stuff to talk, you know, a lot of stuff to track already in alone flights too. But yeah, just watch the flights overall. Like I said, watch your flight and see if it does get canceled. I mean, the pilots, they know how to navigate around the storms. They will, if need be. So just keep an eye on it. Just keep an eye on it. Let's see here. Glenn says, hey, bud, what are the chances of it crashing into Long Island? Well, first of all, hope you're doing good there, Glenn. So the storm is, so according to some of the models, it seems like it's going to pull mostly to your east overall. Like I said, overall, this thing will be pulling its way here, you know, to the east of you. It seems like, I said, the greatest areas we need to watch out for is mostly Nova Scotia, following areas here towards the northeast. I think, pretty confident on the fact this thing's going to remain to your east for the most part. However, I will tell you, like I said, with the, you know, with Long Island in general, let me go ahead and show you guys this real quickly. We'll do the northeast here. So you can see Long Island. Oh, I guess you can't. Here we go. There we go. Okay, now you can see Long Island there. So according to the ECMWF, I'm going to have to actually drop down a model run because that's the short run here overall. So we work our way down in time here. Obviously an extended range here with the ECMWF. So whenever it comes to it, you can see all those waves get a little heavy out there. So you can see right there towards the region. We're talking probably 10, I'd say absolute most 20 feet according to the ECMWF here overall. So, you know, if you're on the southern side here of, you know, Long Island, you know, the southern coastal, or the coastal area, I should say, of Long Island. I think the northern coast should be mostly fine with the, you know, with the big waves. I mean, maybe a little bit higher waves can be possible, but most of it's going to be felt on the lower side of Long Island here. Let's see here. Wife of Grandpa Premier says, Andrew, you know, liar. Yeah, I know, but there's people that are obviously going to always think that what we're saying is fake. I mean, they'll find out eventually that I'm not faking it. You know, that's what I'm saying. I've always been here to help you guys out. I've always been here to make sure you guys are staying safe out there. That's all I care about. Like I said, that's literally all I care about here. I don't care for the views. I don't care for the clicks. I don't care for the money. I will tell you that all day. I will literally say that. I've said it a lot of my streams. I am here for you guys to make sure you all are being prepared. Plus, like I said, I love tracking weather myself. I really have always loved it. What I tell here is always the truth. Like I said, I mean, we were right about, you know, Adalia as it happened, because I was telling you guys what was going on, you know. But there's always going to be trolls. There's always going to be those people. But we just got to ignore them. Let's see here. What time do I come here to do updates? So, kind of ranges typically. I do 2 times a day for these tropical weather updates. I do one in the morning, you know, sometime early. I do ourselves, like I said, I do one in the morning, and I do one in the evening here as well overall. Rob says, okay, fine, I'm wrong, my bad. I appreciate it. Honestly, thank you for that. Like I said, honestly, I would never do that for you guys. I mean, you can see for yourself, like I'm saying here. You can see for yourself. I mean, we are going to see those waves increase. You see it? Just want to make sure that you can actually visually see this, okay? Like I said, there's no hate. I'm here for you guys. I care about y'all. Here. And like I said, later on down in time, you can see how, obviously, you know, basically Fort Lauderdale and up north, the color table has this thing 10 plus foot. So, that's that. Let's see here. Wife says, we care about you too, Andrew. Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate it. Like I said, just want to make sure you guys are being safe and prepared out there. That's literally all we care about here. Like I said, here's the latest spaghetti models, guys. Like I said, if you guys are just now joining us, like I said, we are expecting this storm to move its way up here to the northwest. Like I said, basically here for the 13th into the 14th, right around that 72-hour mark. The main hurricane models does have this thing tracking its way to the northwest here overall. And then, like I said, pulling up here to the north, you know, for the most part. Like I said, all the models essentially show this. So, because like I said, we're going to be getting ourselves that upper-level jet there overall. You know, so like I said, we're going to have that system steering. So as it rolls into that stronger wind shear, it should allow the system to, you know, rapidly weaken as well. At least I believe it will. You know, with the dry air coming across from the mid-Atlantic into the storm, getting sucked up in the storm, overall, that, so, you know, that's, we are expecting this thing to move to the north here overall. Like I said, here's even the ensembles from the GEFS model. You can see that all the members have this thing pulling north to some extent. Like I said, I think the south, obviously the southeast, mid-Atlantic, I think you guys are good for any, you know, threat for landfall. Don't expect any landfall out there because of that jet kind of saving you guys. But still, the big waves and rip currents is going to be a problem. But then, like I said, for the northeast and portions of Nova Scotia, that's where we still need to watch out for really closely. You know, once again, right in these areas here, models are, the density of the models has it going mostly over Nova Scotia there to some extent. Like I said, let's just keep an eye on that. Here's another set of ensembles from the GEPS model. This in particular one has this thing, once again, moving northwest and pulling north here for the 13th and 14th. Remaining just west of Bermuda. I said all the density of the models are just west of Bermuda. Seems like that's the case overall. There's one in particular, there is one in particular member that shows it rolling through, like I said, to the east, which, like I said, that's kind of an outcast there. You don't want to go off of those models. It's the density you want to go off of overall. There's a couple, you know, a couple of them showing it the northeast, but most of them continue north overall. Rob says, yes, I do see it. My apologies. You're fine, dude. You're fine. I appreciate you apologizing. And, like I said, you're good. I just want you to know, though, overall, that, like I said, just want to make sure you guys know that what we're doing here is for your all's help. Okay? I'm here for you guys. I want to make sure you guys are being safe out there. Let's see here. Heather says, great, thank you so much for doing these. Great job. Thank you, Heather. Greatly appreciate it. Thank you, thank you. But real quick, guys, we're going to be heading off here in a few minutes, but I do want to go over the models one last time with you guys. So, like I said, guys, listen up here because we're going to go over the models one last time. We'll talk about their trajectories and overall everything here one more time. And then we're going to call it a stream here for now. So we'll be back later on this evening to give you guys some more updated information overall. Like I said, we'll have to keep an eye on it. So as new model runs come through later on this evening, we'll be back live for those new updates. Anyways, all right, so starting off here, the GFS, once again, we move away to the northwest. It's kind of expected. So once we approach the 13th, right around the 13th and 14th, we start to get ourselves a jet. Here, you can start to see a jet starting to appear across portions here of Florida, moving its way to the east-northeast. That is going to, obviously the storm is moving northwest. It's going to cause it to actually pull up to the north overall. So it's going to be pulling to the north here. It's going to continue moving north. I think it's going to be west of Bermuda more than likely. I said Bermuda should honestly watch out for possible tropical storm conditions. Because like I said, the main models, ECMWF and GFS, show that, we could be talking lower end tropical storm conditions out there towards Bermuda here overall, being a good possibility. Then it continues tracking north here for right around the 16th into the 17th. That's when it's going to be right up there near the northeast, and if not, hitting Nova Scotia there. Right in that general area, we'll be right there for the 16th into the 17th there. So that's kind of that. We get high pressure that kind of, funnels the system to kind of go near the northeast here overall. So, like I said, that's kind of what's, according to the GFS, that's kind of what's expected. Back over here to the ECMWF, the European model here overall. The same thing expected, that northern turn for the 13th and the 14th, going right over Nova Scotia right there for the 16th, going into the 17th here, making landfall, and impacts kind of end right around the 18th, 19th, and then just eventually we'll probably get caught up in the Arctic Circle. So that's according to the ECMWF. The CMC model overall has the system doing the same thing. Like I said, 13th and 14th, tracking north, going right there next to Nova Scotia. Let's see here, and even the Icon model here in the latest run. Actually, it looks like we have a new run that came through. Let's see here. Let's see. Wow. Okay, so new Icon actually has it pulling into the northeast here. But 3 out of 4 models has it, like I said, for Nova Scotia there. And that's exactly why I'm telling you guys. I mean, we got to just keep an eye out there for these areas in general. For areas of the northeast coast, as well as, like I said, obviously, Nova Scotia there overall. How large will the waves become? Kind of crazy according to the like I said, according to the European model overall. I mean, you can kind of see in its life the waves could be up to 80 foot near the core, but like I said, it honestly looks like it's not going to be that bad for most areas upon landfall. For most of the coastlines, it's going to be right between 10 and 20 foot, kind of mostly around between 10 and 15 for the most people. Like I said, from Fort Lauderdale, basically north, the Bahamian Islands are going to help protect southern Florida from a bit of those waves, but kind of southeastern, kind of southeast central, I should say, portions of Florida right there, right around Fort Lauderdale and up. It basically has the system here overall, producing waves of right around 10 to 15 foot or so across a lot of the coast, most of the coast here. And like I said, then when it comes to depending on landfall, say if it does make landfall, those waves could be pretty large across, where it makes landfall. Potentially Nova Scotia seems like that's the best the best possibility as of right now is aimed at Nova Scotia, but still got to watch out for that. But the waves could get pretty daggone large. Obviously, where it makes land touch, that's going to be the heaviest impacts. But like I said, even for portions of Bermuda, I think Bermuda is going to really get some nasty waves here, according to the European model. Such a broad system, such a really large system here overall. Kind of shows Bermuda in the range of right around, like I said, 30 to 40 plus foot. Could be a possibility. So we could see some real big waves out there being a good possibility here. Absolutely. Let's see here. Wife says, thank you, Andrew. Everyone have a great day. You as well. And thank you. I appreciate that. Brave says, thanks for the update. Let's see, already panicking as we have PTSD from Fiona. Like I said, there's no reason to panic. I said, just keep an eye on the storm here for the next couple days. Hopefully it shifts. You're very welcome for the updates, though. You're very, very welcome. Like I said, we'll keep you posted. Obviously, I'll let you know if you need to, prepare for it. I'll let you guys know when the time to prepare for it is. Like I said, if you're across the northeast coast and Nova Scotia, it would not hurt to maybe grab a few things here and there just to get a head start. I mean, like I said, even if it doesn't hit, it's better to be prepared than not prepared, to say if worst case scenario does happen. So, just grab a couple things maybe here and there. over the next couple days. It's not like you have to do it right now. You have plenty of days to prepare for the system. Like I said, and expect things to possibly change. It could definitely change by now. Absolutely. Let's see here. But overall, that's the verdict here. So we went over the icon, we went over the CMC, GFS, ECMWF. I think we about covered all the bases here, guys. I think we basically about covered everything. One last time before we head off, guys. This is the last thing we're gonna do here for today, for this stream anyway. I'll be back live later on this evening. Like I said, right now it is a Category 2. Literally, the uppermost Cat 2 can possibly be. A single mile-an-hour sustained higher would knock it in the Category 3 standpoint. 110 sustained. It says 0 mile-an-hour wind gust, but that's just my program being my program. So it's actually higher than 110, obviously. So I'd say probably between 120 and 130 gusts. It is expected to actually become a Cat 3 later on this evening. I said right now it's 110. Expected to gain about 10 mile-an-hour strength. So right there to 120 sustained with gusts up to 150. It is forecasted, as of right now, to actually become a Category 4 again. Kind of a low-end Cat 4. Personally, I don't know if it'll do Cat 4. I think it'll probably stay around Cat 3. I think it will, personally. But like I said, according to the model here, according to the official forecast here from the Hurricane Center, sustained winds of 130 with gusts up to 160. Like I said, gusts up to Cat 5 strength, but sustained of Cat 4. Then it's going to weaken again here, basically for the 12th. And then track north, and as it starts rolling into that higher wind shear, as it starts, turning into, as it starts pulling its way into drier air as well as cooler waters eventually as it works its way up here, it's going to basically be a weakening trend from there on out, essentially. Let's see here. But that is that. Didn't Sandy take an unexpected west turn? I don't know. At the time being, I was only, 10 years old. It happened in 2012. I was only, essentially, I was only 10 years old, so I wasn't too sure on what the forecasts were looking like back then. Let's see here. Records are made to be broken, eh? Can't really say that right now, but we'll have to keep an eye on it. Andrew says, sorry I'm late, but anything I missed? Anything big I missed? Well, kind of missed the whole live stream. But I hope to catch you again later on. Like I said, we're going to head off here, literally in a few seconds, guys. So, if there's anything I can do for you guys, like I said, feel free to let me know. We have a Discord in the description, so if you guys, after stream hours, want to come hang out, talk with us, we have a Discord. It's down in the description. We got Twitter, at NWW116_WX. Got our merch down there if you want to check out some cool merch we got. We got our, donations and stuff like that. Like I said, I'm not in for the money, though, guys, so, like I said, don't bother wasting your time on that. But like I said, yeah, we'll just keep you guys updated. We'll keep you guys prepared. Like I said, obviously tomorrow, like I said, obviously, or not tomorrow, later on today. I keep on saying tomorrow. Later on today, I'll be live again, probably around 8 Eastern, maybe 7 Central. Kind of what I'm going for. So I hope to see you guys around that time. But all right, let's see here. Mimi says, thanks, Andrew. Great stream. Let's see here. I have notifications on for future updates. I appreciate it. Thank you for that. Like I said, thank you all to people who subscribed, liked, and obviously the donations. Got to say a big thank you to our donators here before we head off here, as we always do. Big thank you goes to Michael, Mimi, Wyatt, and Crystal for the donations. Thank you guys. Much appreciated. You guys rock. Like I said, that'll help pay for the programs here. So that'll help supply me for 1 month of this program. So appreciate it, guys. Thank you so much. And all right, let's see here. What was the biggest donation I got today? $10 from Mimi. Being really sweet. Greatly appreciate it. Like I said, super, super nice of you. Once again, Mimi, thank you so much for that. But all right, let's see. Okay, I'm in, let's see, Washington? See you later. You're in Washington, right? W-A? Let's see. Pretty sure that's the abbreviations. Washington. Anyways, you're pretty far away. But all right, guys. All right, you guys have a great rest of your day. Like I said, we'll catch you guys here later on. If you have not already, like I said, consider subscribing. I'm not going to force you to subscribe, but consider it. Like I said, that way you guys can be up to date on the latest information and all of that fun stuff here overall. But, okay. Well, like I said, stream's going to head off here, guys, in approximately 2 minutes. So if there's anything you want to go ahead and say in chat to your friends, family, anybody you're hanging out with, go ahead and say your final goodbyes to the chat, guys. And, all right. Well, we'll catch you guys later on. 2 minutes starting right now. Go ahead and say your goodbyes. And, all right. You guys take care, and we'll catch you guys later on. Peace out, my friends. We love y'all. Be safe out there. See ya later on. Peace out, my friends.